Welcome, everybody, to our latest edition of Screen Creeps, where actually this week we were going to go watch the movie Exorcist Believer, but none of us actually felt like going to the theater tonight because it was kind of late, and a couple of us, I think, have to work in the morning. I
Yeah.
don't, but I know Aaron does, and Josh wasn't able to join tonight because he wasn't able to watch what we are going to be talking about this week.
Mm.
But this
Very
week instead,
interesting, though.
yeah, this week we're going to be talking about the movie No One Will Save You. It actually opened in theaters on September 19th and was released to streaming services by 20th Century Studios as a Hulu Original Film in the United States and on Disney Plus Star internationally on the 22nd. So if you guys remember, if you guys watched our podcast a couple of weeks ago, that week was when it wasn't Saw 10, but It Lives Inside came out. So that's what we went and watched at the theater that week. But so instead of watching Exorcist this week, we went ahead and watched this one instead. It's unusual among features. I'm going to point this out, and we could talk about it during the podcast. But it only had 5 words of dialogue in the entire movie.
Yeah.
So
And that was totally unexpected, too.
yeah,
That it
yeah,
wouldn't have like, watching the trailer, you have no idea that it doesn't have dialogue. You're
yeah.
just like, what
I
is
think
it?
that yeah.
She's a. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think the
Continue
first
the
words,
intro.
yeah, I think the first words I remember hearing were at the hour 9 minute mark, if I remember right. There might have been a couple that I missed, but those are the ones I
Oh, you
remember
actually took
specifically.
track of it. I didn't.
Yeah, I actually stopped, I paused the movie because I was like, this is incredible that I've watched this entire movie and she hasn't said a word.
Hmm.
So even the interactions, but we'll get to that. But it was written, directed, and produced by Brian Duffield. And when I looked him up, he's notably he's known for directing or writing Love and Monsters, Underwater, and The Babysitter. The only 2 movies he's actually directed are this one and a dark comedy made in 2020 called Spontaneous. But I don't know, Aaron, if you've seen Underwater or The Babysitter or Love and Monsters for that matter. But
Oh,
I know
Love and Monsters, I think I
yeah,
have. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's the one with what's his name? Played Spider Man. Tom Holland, isn't it?
No,
Is that the
actually,
right?
it's got
Is that not the same one?
no,
I'm messing
it's
up already, man.
yeah, Dylan O'Brien, the dude from I think he was it Percy Jackson? I think that's maybe is that who it is?
Oh, Dylan O'Brien. All right, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I did watch that movie. I don't know why I thought it was Tom Holland. I'm not sure. Oh, I was getting that and the one he did around the same. I don't know if it was the same time about the. You
Oh
can
no, I'm
hear.
thinking of the wrong movie. Not Percy Jackson, Maze Runner,
Yeah,
and
Maze Runner.
and
Man,
Teen Wolf and
we're
stuff.
we are
Yeah,
on it
yeah.
today.
That's what I get for
Getting
guessing.
all this stuff
Yeah,
wrong.
that's what I get for guessing.
But
I
I
was
mean,
just
that's the thing, man. There's so much out there, man. Like, how are you gonna keep up with everything? I'm not. I'm just. I try, but holy
yeah.
crap, there's a lot.
But the other thing is, he's known as having movies that he's written that have shown up on the blacklist. And the blacklist, I don't know if you're aware of what that is, Aaron, but I guess it's an
No,
annual survey of the most liked motion picture screenplays not yet produced.
sorry, I gotta let my dog in.
That's
He's just scratching at the door.
for everybody on YouTube. You get to see Aaron let his dog in,
Yeah. Well, yeah,
and for
sure.
anybody listening, you don't get to see it. But yeah, so it started being published every year in 2005 on the second Friday of December by an executive named Franklin Leonard at Universal Pictures. But movies that were on that list were like Argo, American Hustle, Juno, The King's Speech, Slumdog Millionaire, things like that. So there's a lot on that list that end up winning Oscars and stuff like that. But the movie starred Kaitlyn Dever. I don't know if anybody watching is familiar with who she is, but what I remember her from is Last Man Standing. It was a comedy, Tim Allen comedy on, I think it was on ABC at first.
That's
and then
where I know her from.
Yeah, and then it moved to Fox, but she played Eve on. She
The
was
daughter, right?
his youngest daughter that was
Yeah.
like the tomboy one. So the one that was like more like him, that liked football and all that stuff, but and went in the military, all that good stuff. But yeah, as I said, I felt, well, I didn't really say that yet, but once we talk about it more, we'll discuss what we thought about even her performance, which
I
I
mean,
thought was
we could talk
incredible
about it now.
considering.
Yeah, considering there was no dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, the great thing about it was before I watched the movie, Josh said one of his friends said, "Oh, it was bad," and I'm watching the movie. I'm like, "This is really good." Like without dialogue or anything like that, I was drawn into it, and I was almost hyper focused, other than having to take the occasional break because getting text messages or something.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Yeah, and I can tell you from my perspective, have you seen the movie Nope yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
See,
yeah. I
so
thought
when
the same thing.
Yeah,
The
so when
clouds
I watched,
rolling
yeah.
in, and then I thought the same thing.
But I also watched this one, and I was like, this to me, because I didn't really, and I'm probably in the minority among anyone, I didn't really care for that movie. And and Elaine didn't either, my wife. She didn't care. She didn't really get, and I kind of didn't either. I've seen enough, many a movie, and I didn't really get, like, I got that you wouldn't want to be around it, but I just didn't get the premise of being scared by a kite. Or, it was...
Well,
anyways,
it wasn't
looked
the
like,
kite. It was
well,
what
I'm just
the kite
saying
represented, that it was holding on to it.
I get that, but I meant it looked like a paper flapping in the wind is what I'm getting at. Like this movie, this one, but this movie, I think I'd be scared shitless if something like this happened. And this was more representative of what I would envision, what we've always envisioned
for
of
an invasion.
aliens. Of an invasion.
If they
and how it would
invaded
happen,
and stuff like that. I mean, it's hard to actually, if we put it in the same scope that we've been doing lately, to where you break it up from the first act to the second act to the third act. It's like the first act was probably from the beginning all the way to. It's hard to say because there was no. There was almost conflict beginning.
Well,
like once you were introduced to the aliens, like it was going the rest of the time.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, was that I felt maybe the first act was only like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then
it was
the second
like
act was
and I don't
everything
want
building.
And I think people need to watch it. I do not want, like we did in the last one, I think we kind of made a mistake where
we went through every single detail.
Yeah, I think this one, people need to watch this movie because it's like literally, I don't want to really give anything away at all, except I feel when something happened within the first 10 minutes, that's when it started to flip. And it was like that up until probably the last 8 or 9 minutes. Like that's the second act was most of the movie. And then
I love how
maybe the last
did
15 minutes.
Did you feel you weren't invested in the actual, like, her trying to be saved or save herself from these aliens, or were you more invested in what the tie was between the relationship with the people that were upset with her and her friend? Because I found myself, I really wanted to know what the heck happened.
Well, yeah, same here, because they did that intentionally. I mean, this Brian Duffield did an excellent job, I think, in this, because from the get-go, I'm like, for one thing, I kept going back, and that's what took me a little bit longer, because I was like, based on, and I'll give this away to an extent, but the way she was dressed in the movie, I had to go back and go, when the hell was this based? So early on, you see the tombstone, and you know it was at least after 2019.
Yeah.
It's not till later on you find out it's more like 2022. It's almost present day is when this movie, because the other thing that she looks at has a year on it that she had mentioned in something she wrote was 10 years prior. So I'm not going to give anything away past that, but it basically brings us back to present day.
I can see how you might think that based on what she was wearing and maybe with the police officer, their uniforms and stuff like that. It did seem a little older, but
it was mainly her, and I think it was just the makeup. I don't want to give too much away, but like the phone in her house was old as shit.
Don't give it away. No.
I'm not trying, but it's hard not to when we're talking about it for some of the things. Like when I talk about, she wore older looking clothes, like stuff you would wear back in the 50s. She listened to music that was back then. So this was early on. So I'm like, is this based in the? But then that's why I had to go back to the tombstone just to see what year at least it was. So that didn't track. But yeah, I was invested in the entire movie. It shocked me because this was one of those, and I'll tell you that I was shocked that normally we watch these things like science fiction or horror. This was more like a science fiction horror movie, but mostly you'll always see these horror tropes where they fall and they get caught. This movie, I don't think there was any of that. Like she reacted the way I would have probably reacted.
Being would have reacted.
And,
yeah.
I mean,
when she saw things, it was like, holy shit. And just imagine no dialogue this entire time. So she was acting the shit out of this. Yeah. Like and through her eyes the entire time. Like
and I truly felt what she was feeling, and I was very surprised with this movie. I mean, I wanted to see it just off the trailer because I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. That the trailer made me want to watch it.
I think we were talking about maybe having it on Sci-Fi Graveyard instead of this and other things. But I think it's appropriate having it. Hell, we can do it on both. Have Joe watch it and then do another pod. But it definitely. I do have to say this about it. Like it's. I would say it's more of an intellectual movie. You have to think about the dynamics of what are happening in it, or you won't understand like what's going on. Like the whole not talking part. I think I get why he went that route instead of actually having dialogue, not just because it makes it, easier. He doesn't have to write a script, which is friggin' insane in itself. Like writing a storyboard. I guess it would just be an illustration board of everything that he wanted to do. And he's like, he pitches it to a studio and he's there's no dialogue. Here's the dialogue. It's 5 words on a page.
Yeah.
That's it. And they're like, what is this? He's like, here's the storyboard. And then he lays out all the images of what's going on. Like, it's cool. No narration, no nothing, but you can follow the story so easily. Yeah. Well, for some, that's what I'm saying. Like the dynamics of what are happening. Like if you look at it at a surface level, you're not gonna get it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people that watch it, the ending might confuse them.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Again, we're not going to do spoilers this time like we did last time, where we gave away everything.
Yeah, I can see them being like, really?
Yeah.
Really? What did I watch this movie for?
Yeah.
But then you got people like us, and like, that was good. Like,
yeah. Well, and I said it. You didn't. I don't know if you got to watch the last movie where we interviewed Victoria on our last.
I did
podcast,
not. Unfortunately, not.
But that one, we talked to her, and me and Josh both agreed that it ended the way it needed to end. Like it was, and I think this one was the same way. But it's gonna be one of those things. Like people will watch it and go, they'll go, huh? What? Okay, where are we at?
Well, I don't know if that's it. I wouldn't say that per se. Like, oh, it needed how it, or it ended how it needed to end.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's a
yeah,
little bit different for this, I guess,
yeah.
because without giving anything away, but it was just a very interesting way to end things.
Hmm.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
me and
Well,
you off the camera, we'll have to discuss the
yeah,
ending of it because what
yeah,
you thought of it and what I thought of it because
yeah,
it was different. It was worth the I think it's what an hour and a half long.
yeah. 93 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't long, but it was good.
Yeah,
So
and the budget was 22.8 million. And one other thing I could say is the effects were great in it too. I mean,
surprisingly, yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was again for what the what is it antagonists were in the movie.
hmm
They were designed again how I would envision them looking. It's something that you always see in pictures. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
I mean, it's
I really like. How do I say this without giving anything away? Uh, I really liked the creative idea that he used for. Well, I can't say that. I got to talk to you about this, Jeremy.
yeah,
I can't
yeah,
talk about it here if I want to give anything. Sorry. It's a very interesting way in how they had created the aliens and like you learn later on, even with the small bit of information, a lot about them.
hmm
Like, and it's so interesting to me that in just a span of let's say 5 minutes or one climactic scene, you learn everything you need to know about this species.
yeah. And that's what I was saying.
It's
That
pretty
was the
crazy.
last 9 minutes of the movie or something like
hmm
that. It was crazy what they did in that short time. But they also did. He also did the perfect part of like, you're used to act one. Sometimes, like I think we talked about it with Saw. I think that one went like Act One was a good long way
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was at least like
before.
30 minutes of Act One.
Yeah, and this one, like it was, Act One was short, and I was worried that it was
Well,
like
I don't
we
know.
didn't.
I don't know because we're thinking that Act One ended at the introduction of the antagonist, but I don't think that's where it was. That's like
Well, I don't think it was the introduction. I think it was slightly after that, but we'll talk about it. I don't want to give the
yeah.
part away that I'm talking about, so we can discuss
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But but most
Well,
movies,
hey,
it's a long Act One. It lives
leave a
inside was the same way.
if y'all watch it and you leave a comment below and you want us to go into a little more detail about what we're discussing now, just let us know. We can always revisit this
Yeah, and maybe Josh
and
will
say
actually
more,
watch the
watch
movie
it, and
and
then we
come on
can
and
like actually give spoilers and everything like that because it's really difficult to not tell anything and make it interesting for you guys. But I mean, all in all, like I would suggest people to watch this. I mean, hell, it's on Hulu. Uh,
oh
you
yeah,
don't
and
have
we'll
to go
put
to
a
the
link
theater. It's great.
down. Yeah, we'll put a link to the trailer and to the movie down in the description. I'm not sure
Mhm.
if I can put a link to the movie or not. I'll try, but at least
Directly
I'll
to
put the
Hulu. You
trailer
should
down
be
there.
able to.
Yeah.
Should be able to.
So, I mean, I shared it with you, so I
Yeah.
should be able to share it with everybody
All
else.
right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, pretty much everybody else in the movie. I pointed out the main star because literally she was in the entire movie. I
Yeah.
don't. There was bit parts by everybody else, but nobody that was in it is familiar that I know of. They don't even have a wiki page,
And
so I'd have to look at their.
obviously, none of them have dialogue because
Yeah.
she only had 5 lines. So yeah, and that's another thing I actually really like that none of the other characters really you can say anything significant about.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It's like it's
Or we
all
were
about
saying that
her
earlier. Was
experience
that
with this.
yeah?
So it was a yeah, it was really cool. I can't say that enough. Whoever wrote it, who wrote it?
It was
Writers
the guy that
Brian Duff.
directed,
Oh,
Brian
all right, the
Duffield.
same guy.
Yeah,
All right.
he wrote, directed, and produced it. And like I was saying, if anybody's seen The Babysitter, it's on Netflix. He wrote that. He executive produced the second one. But that's a horror movie, and it's funny when you watch that.
That I
Another one he
haven't
wrote
seen.
was yeah. Another one he wrote is Insurgent, the movie, the second one in the Divergent series. He wrote that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah. So and
Yeah,
then
I
he
might surprise
produced.
everybody and say I actually watched those movies.
Yeah,
I did.
I
I
actually
did.
I actually have not. I
No.
always plan. I think I own all three of them, but because they were
How is that
not
even
very.
possible?
I I
You own all three, yet you haven't watched one of them?
yeah, I can't explain why. I mean, there's a lot of movies I own that I either haven't seen and planned on watching, and it was cheap, so I bought it instead of renting it. That's what
it was
happens.
cheap, so I bought it.
Well, no, that's what well, have you ever went on Vudu and you go, okay, it's $4 to rent or $5 to buy, and you just buy the damn thing because it's a
Oh, a
dollar
dollar
more
more? Yeah.
to buy it. I
But
mean, you rent it, you
wait,
get it
wait.
for.
It's not only that you did that, but you
Hmm.
did that and didn't watch it.
True.
So it's
Yeah.
like I only go on Amazon and I'm like, all right, this recently came out. It's only like $5,
Okay.
6 bucks, and then I rent
So
it and then watch it.
So let me
So
explain this too. There's a lot of movies I got on Redbox
uh
and I never took back. So so so
so you
so
have your own
yeah,
you have your own shelf dedicated to Redbox
I used to,
plastic
but
things.
yeah, I used to.
For
I
those of you
got
that aren't
yeah
old enough for Redbox,
yeah. It was
man, you
after
remember Blockbuster?
Netflix, but
Oh my
before
gosh!
it was what
I,
killed Blockbuster
yeah,
basically. Redbox did.
we are you, Josh, we're the Blockbuster generation.
Yeah
Like, I remember getting my first Blockbuster card at like
yeah.
14, 15 years old, and I would go there every damn weekend and rent new movies.
Well, shit, our mom worked at Major Video that was bought by Blockbuster. So, I mean, and that's what I said when we interviewed Victoria. I said, we are movie junkies. I mean, like
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
this podcast that we're going to be starting called Theater Junkies. We should have started that at the beginning because I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
as many
that's
movies as we've watched over the years. I mean, I
mhm.
remember the VHS tapes that Mom and Dad had, where they had hundreds of them, and each one had like 4 movies taped on each one. We had
Oh
a shit ton of
yeah.
movies. You were young. I mean, Mom and
No,
Dad
I
got
remember
rid of them,
that.
I think. But yeah, I mean, I remember most of it because I've been
Yeah,
around
because
the
we'd
longest. But
have to fast forward or rewind to the movie that we wanted to see.
yeah, yeah,
And here's the great thing. Our mom was so awesome. All right, or is awesome.
yeah.
Back then, she had a book. It was almost like a Rolodex of every single like movie that's there. And I don't remember if she did, but I think she had a timestamp of when the change was. I don't recall if that's right or not, but
Yeah, I don't
she had them
recall
all
that,
labeled.
but I do remember. Yeah, I do remember that. I don't
Uh,
remember the
and we
timestamps, but
yeah no because we would just fast forward it to when the intro came in to the new one. But
yeah, it was
she had a
crazy how many movies
Rolodex
they had. Yeah, it was,
of all the movies that we had because it was really it would have been difficult to find them
hmm
because they were literally the recordable VHS tapes that they
yeah,
just it's on cable. Boop, boop.
yeah. And
Or no,
when she
wait,
worked at Major
when she
Video, she
rented.
brought movies home all the time.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she would just because what was it? The
Well, I don't know
VHS
if. Yeah, I
the
mean, she brought
VHS
movies home that
tapes.
we rented all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, but the VHS tapes,
they were
like,
like
weren't
cassette
they like
tapes.
100 or they were more minutes than they were like 400 minutes compared to like the hour and 20 minutes that it's in a
Well,
regular
it
movie case,
depended.
right?
You could. It's just like DVDs or CDs. You could get
Yeah.
ones that had more
Have
space on
more.
them. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so depending upon I think it was it started with a T. I cannot remember now. It's been so freaking long, but there were ones that had more tape on them,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so they'd go buy the recordable ones that had. I mean, there
So what
were
did they
I think
just
three or four.
did they just play the movie in one VHS and then record it on another one? So they were dubbing copies? What were they
Oh no,
doing?
she wasn't. No, no, this was in addition to all the movies we had at home. Like she would
Oh,
just
okay. All right,
bring
all right.
movies from that, like the new movies. She got like an allotment of ones she could
Yeah,
rent.
how old were you? Because I don't remember her working there.
Well, I mean, we moved when I
I
had
was
just turned
9, so
17, or I had just turned. I was 17. Hadn't been turned 18 yet when we moved.
I didn't remember her working at a
Yeah,
movie
it wasn't
TV.
right before we moved, but yeah, she worked there for a while. She was a manager there.
Mm. Yeah, I did not know that.
So I don't think she started out as one, but yeah, she worked there for a while. But she'd bring movies home all the time. But yeah, so I mean, we not only had the movies they taped on HBO and shit, where they had the iconic HBO entrance
Mm.
part, but we also rented the new ones that came out. I mean,
But
we yeah,
you guys are learning a little bit of our background here.
yeah, yeah. So
The Willie family trade.
well, yeah,
Like,
well, it's kind of now you start to understand why we're into movies and stuff as much as we are, because I mean we've
yeah,
literally been watching them since we were little. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, who hasn't though? But a lot of people grow out of it
not
and
as
don't watch
many.
as many
Yeah,
movies. But
yeah, I can tell you, Elaine hasn't seen. Elaine never got until she'd been around us, like how we. She was talking about it earlier, actually, where we'll hear a song and we'll go, "What
we
movie's
know
that
what
from?"
movie is that from? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and she'll go,
I was
"I've
just
never."
Josh was either playing something or something was on his TV, and I'm like, and then I called it out. I was like, it's real. Wait, are you playing this? Or is that this movie? I just recently did that. I do it all the time.
Yeah, and I do
Or
it too, obviously,
lines.
because she was just talking about it earlier. Yeah, because I was doing the same thing. I was saying lines from a movie, and she's like, "What the?" And it's, you
You're
talking
just
movie
quoting it.
quotes? I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I'm like, that's because we watched. I'm telling you, we've watched a ton of movies growing up. Now, do I
Yeah.
remember every single one of them? No, but when
I
I
remember a
watch them
lot.
again, then I remember every single thing.
Yeah, isn't
But
that interesting?
yeah,
How all it takes is that little spark, and then you remember most of it. Like,
yeah,
here, let me ask you this.
I
All right, since we're on this note, as a kid, what was? Well, I think I might have asked you before. Like,
you
what's
asked in
one
the last.
movie? Did I?
I think
What?
yeah, and I said Hoosiers and Rocky Four were the two
No, no,
big
no, no,
ones.
no. No,
Oh,
it's like
okay.
what movie do you remember like kind of messing you up as a kid as far as horror? Since this is Scream Creeps and all,
Yeah,
like
messing.
just not messing you up, but just like freaking you out a little bit, and it's like you didn't watch it until you were like all the way through until you were an adult.
Oh, the funny thing is, we were gonna do the sequel this week. Exorcist was a big
The
one,
Exorcist was
and
one.
and we'll be talking about that on this one in a few weeks down the road, because it's one of the scariest movies according to science. And I remember as a kid, it freaked me out. Like, but I watched it a little bit ago. I don't remember how long ago, because I own all three of those too. And I think The Exorcist, I own the director's cut, and
I already
watched it
let him in,
again, and
Josh. That was a while ago. Sorry, guys.
anyways, I watched that not too long ago, and I'm like, why did this scare me? But as a kid, yeah.
Yeah,
And Nightmare on Elm Street was another one that I
the
remember
original.
having. Yeah, that I remember having nightmares about.
Oh yeah. Oh, you had
Like I
nightmares
would
about it.
actually, like I would
All
actually.
right. I had dreams, but not nightmares. The only reason I don't call them nightmares is because, all right, here's the scene, right? So you remember in one of them. I don't remember which one it was, but it might have been. I don't know, but a girl grabs the handles to the sink and it becomes
the claws.
hands, the claw hands, and then
This
the
is
face
really
comes
odd.
out.
I'm going to tell you, it's really odd if you get to what I'm.
No,
Just,
well,
just,
no. That all right. So I guess it had to do with that scene because my dream was that I turned on the sink, and all these little Freddy Kruegers were popping out.
That's freaking weird, dude.
Wait,
I
am I
had the same
confusing?
one.
No. All right, no,
I was
I know
gonna
what
say
I
I
did.
had the same
I know what I
dream.
did.
Did you?
No,
Did you?
no. I think you told me that when I was a little kid, and I thought it was my dream.
I was gonna say, holy shit! What? I was gonna say, how the hell did we have the same dream? Because that's literally
you told
the
me
one.
that when I was a little kid.
I was gonna say because
Motherfucker.
I'm like, I was gonna say,
You know how
wait a
many
minute.
times I've told that story to people, and then I guess I amalgamated it into my own. And
Yeah,
it's
you
just,
must have because
wow.
that seriously
Wow,
would have
that's
freaked me
amazing.
out if
No,
you
'cause
actually. I'm like,
Little Freddy, I don't remember what you ended with. Did you end up fighting him?
he scraped me on my stomach. Like
Oh, all right.
he
No.
cut my stomach open, and I woke up the next day and I had 3 marks.
So apparently, I've been telling this lie my entire life, and I changed the story. I changed Jeremy's story into all these little Freddy Cougars pop out of the sink, and then they all jump on the floor. No,
That
I'm
part
saying
did
like
happen.
no,
Okay.
I'm saying my lie, my version
Okay.
of it, the dream I had was that they all formed into one, like Evil Dead. You remember in Army of Darkness when all the little ones come together and make one big ash? So apparently, I fought Freddy Krueger and I won.
Okay.
So
yeah, that part.
No.
Everything else except for the you won part. I must have told you because that was literally everything except he got me. Like he got my, and that's what woke me up. And I woke up with 3 marks on my stomach. So I must have done it myself in my sleep. It was weird.
Wow, that's interesting now.
Yeah.
Since I heard it as a little kid,
yeah,
that now became my dream.
Yeah, and
in my memory, like I vividly have it in my memory of having that dream. But no, that's your dream.
Yep, and
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it is. Well, like I said, it was. It would have been crazier if you actually had the same dream I did. That would have been weird, because I would have been like, okay, that's strange. Like, how do we have the same one? Like,
you must have told me the exact story.
I
like,
must
you know
have.
that scene where the hands come in over, I turned it on, and the little Freddy Cougars pop out, and I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm stealing that, bitch. That's not your creative outlet, Aaron. That's your brother's. You're a fucking asshole. Wow.
But I don't have a creative outlet, dude. I tell my son that all the time.
Apparently you do. Your subconscious does, because that shit.
But yeah. So those are the 2 movies I would say that freaked me out.
Oh, all right, yeah. Because I remember one like. When I was a kid, I remember watching. We were in the California house, and you know how we had the old sofa set up against the wall, and
the shit everybody had back then. When I see movies now, they all have the same stuff.
Like,
I have no idea, but it's got the wood with the floral frickin'.
And the horrible springs that just like ass out.
But I can tell you, the fucking tables can last forever. Because all you have to do is sand them, and they might still have it in their garage.
Mom and Dad still had that end table. Hell, shit, I think they still have it in the front room. So that's got to be... Yeah, that's older than me. That's got to be 40 years plus.
It may be as old as I am. I mean, because I don't remember... Well, I don't remember... We'd have to look at pictures. But, I mean, that shit lasts forever.
Those things were heavy as shit, though.
Yeah. Well, it's pure wood. This furniture now that they make is fucking fiberglass shit. You step on it wrong and it breaks.
Press board.
Yeah, I mean, and it's more expensive. I mean, it's like...
Anyway, so I remember being... We had that couch on the side, and then the what was it? The TV that has... What is it? The box TVs?
13 channels, the console TV?
Yeah, those console TVs, and then had the VHS up top. Anyway, we were I don't know if it was just me or everyone was there, and I was just deeply tuned into this movie called ticks. Do you remember this movie?
I remember the name of the
Seth
movie.
Green. Seth Green was the only person that I really like. Oh no, and the dude that played in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the cousin,
Carlton.
He was in it too.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Yeah. So, all right,
I don't
the
remember
premise
that
of the movie,
at all.
you know, it was crazy. It was crazy. Oh, and who's famous director? Red hair used to do movies back in the day. American Graffiti.
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. His brother.
Was Clint. Yeah, the
Clint
one that
Howard.
Yeah, the one that's really weird looking.
He was a crazy scientist or some shit in this, and he made like these giant radioactive like ticks that when they like attach to you, they burrow, and Alfonso, he turns into a giant tick, like a giant one. I don't know what it was about this movie. It freaked me the fuck out. It freaked me out so much. I was in 7 or 8, you know what I mean? And I watched it as an adult, and I still was like a little creeped out.
Maybe we have to watch it for this one because I've never seen it.
I don't know if I'll watch that shit again. It was horrible, man. Like this dude's face, like popping, oozing, and then you know how creepy Ron Howard's brother looks.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying.
He was a creepy motherfucker in this movie.
I think he's like that in every movie.
Yeah, I mean he is.
Because even in Waterboy, he was weird.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like
I guess he is typecast as the weird eccentric
he's
guy.
just an odd looking dude, but he's been in a shit ton of movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's been in 200 plus.
Seth Green was in it. Yeah, long red hair. Oh man.
Well, it looks like Peter Scolari was in it too.
Oh, did you look it up?
Yeah, I was looking it up.
It took me forever to find that movie.
It was direct to video, so I mean, it didn't even come out in the theaters.
Yeah. So. I guess that was one of the ones that Mom brought home, and we watched one night. Jeez.
Maybe, but it came out in '93, so yeah, it was right before we moved. So you were only like,
I was 7.
Shit, you were only
8.
7, and you. That sounds like our house, where we were watching. I mean, you think about when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time.
It's funny how much stuff, even as a little kid, you don't like understand.
Oh yeah,
all the shit that, dude.
Well, Disney I'm trying to get my kids to watch.
Disney is notorious for that shit, like having sexually explicit things in kids' movies that you don't, not explicit. I don't want to use that word.
Well, hidden Easter eggs, I guess you would
Easter
call them.
eggs for adults, like that they're like, oh shit, like the parents like turn to themselves, they're like, look at their kids, like, did they catch it?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I sure as shit didn't.
I know.
Because there was
most of the time you don't, or most of the time kids don't. I'm trying to get my kids just to watch a damn horror movie. I tried to get Aiden to watch this one. He wouldn't watch it.
Man, if I told your sons what you used to do to us as kids, they'd be like, "What the hell?"
Oh, I'm a lot.
You and Donald. Man, that Bloody Mary night was fucking scared the shit out of me.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. All right. So Jeremy tells us about this fucking Bloody Mary thing. All right. So we, as kids, we got to shut off the light and then say Bloody Mary 3 times. So I don't remember who put us in the bathroom. You got to face a mirror to do it too. And then I guess Donald was that. You must have put us in the bathroom, and Donald was outside. And so you closed the door and shut off the light on the way out. And then we say Bloody Mary 3 times, and Donald fucking rages on the window, and I freaked the fuck out.
Well, yeah, because the crazy part is that house was very oddly set up. Like there was a hallway to the one bathroom that we had.
Yeah.
And the bathroom like literally had a shower, a toilet, a sink, and a window in it. And literally that was it. It was not very big. and then there were 3 bedrooms in it, and then the living room and the kitchen were on the front of the house. So, I think it was 983 square feet is what we grew up in. But yeah,
The
it
place
was.
I'm in now is bigger than that.
Oh yeah,
Oh no,
well, my house
it's
is like.
as big as that.
Well, Mom and Dad talked about my house. The house I live in now the bottom floor is as big as their entire house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like anyways, it's not. I'm not trying to say anything. I was just saying that. To consider our house that we grew up in as maybe 2 rooms of my downstairs.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how we lived in it. It just tells you that
you don't need much, man.
Well, you don't. But there were
kids.
6. I know. Yeah, and I think
3 little kids.
3 little kids.
The 2 adults lived in the same room, so it's like we really didn't need that much space.
Well,
we were outside all the damn time.
Well, yeah. That's
all
the difference
the time.
for then versus now. Most kids are in the house, and it's hard to get them outside. But anyways, we're getting off on a tangent.
we've been done with this. We've been done with the movie. Go watch the movie. Or not go. Just turn on your TV.
Turn on your TV and put Hulu on. I said, we'll put a link in the description.
Really
watch
good
this
hour
movie.
and a half. It was good.
Yeah, but I guess we can end the podcast. But at some point. I'm just saying. We could talk for we can we can sit here and
when
talk
we're on the phone. We're just sitting here talking.
So, but I think the next one. Are we actually going to go watch Exorcist next week? Because there's nothing actually coming out next week.
If there's nothing coming out, I don't see why not.
But
it really depends. It really depends on what my schedule is. I don't know if it's going to change next week on Friday or what, but I'll try and go watch it. Well, once my schedule comes out, I'll let you know.
But yeah, with that though, we'll also be doing Alien on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So that'll be our number 24 scariest movie according to science. So it's another science fiction horror film is what I would gauge that. And I won't preface it.
I do like the sci-fi horror stuff. It is good. Like, do you? Well, you want to know one of my favorite ones? It was what is it? Oh no, I forgot what it was called. Where it's on the ship. No, the spaceship. Event Horizon.
Okay, yeah.
That one was legit, bro.
Yeah, the Lawrence
Fishburne.
It was Lawrence Fishburne.
That was good. That was really good.
But yeah, so we'll be doing Alien on Tuesday. Plan on Exorcist Believer possibly on Friday next week. Now, Sci-Fi Graveyard, we'll be talking about Predator on that one. So we're doing the Alien on Scream Creeps and then Predator on Sci-Fi Graveyard. So
I might have to join that one with some Schwarzenegger on there.
Yeah. So,
come on, bro.
So yeah,
get in the chopper.
Yeah, just to preempt you guys on one of our other podcasts, Sci-Fi Graveyard. We did Superman last time. We plan on doing Predator to go alongside Alien this time. But with that, I think we'll say good night.
Good night.
And we hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys haven't also, since this is on YouTube, if you guys have not subscribed or liked the channel yet and you enjoy this content that we started putting out pretty much 3 weeks ago, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell so you get notified when our new videos come out. Now with YouTube, it seems like they're pushing podcasts more to YouTube because I don't know if anybody's aware that Google Podcasts is stopping. And I think it's primarily because Google's investing in YouTube podcasts. So we kind of jumped ahead and started releasing our podcast not only on audio form, which you can subscribe to our podcasts on any of your favorite platforms. We're on pretty much every single one of them. So you'll find us if you look up Scream Creeps on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, any of your Spotify.
Say hi.
But if you like watching the videos instead of just listening to the audio, you'll find them on YouTube going forward, every single one of our podcasts. So for myself and Aaron, I'm Jeremy. I don't think I said that at the beginning of the podcast. I need to be better about doing that.
He's Jeremy.
Yeah.
He's Jeremy.
Yeah, and Aaron's the other guy. Yeah.
Aaron.
But for all of us here at Scream Creeps, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this week. And again, go check out the movie on Hulu. It was a good one.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next one. And have a good day, night, or whatever time it is you like listening or watching the podcast. And we'll
Afternoon.
Yep.
Second breakfast. Second lunch. Dinner.
But see you guys later.
Bye.